That one there.
Yeah. Might take a look at it. I don't think I'm doing. No.
Jeez. Oh, geez.
We're good? We're good, Mr. Chairman.
Okay. Guess I will read that, huh? Oh, we gotta get out of here. I'd like to call this meeting to order. I'd like to welcome everyone. And we'll begin by having myself lead you in the Pledge of Allegiance since I haven't been here for a while. Please join me.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Okay, we'll move into our next item of business, call to the public. Anyone out there wants to share something with us? Well, hearing none, we'll move into our next item of business. Public Health Service District, the Board of Supervisors will convene as the Board of Directors of the Greeley County Public Health Service District and will reconvene as the Board of Supervisors following consideration of this item, the consent agenda.
I move that we approve the consent agenda as listed.
I second that motion.
Motion has been made and second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Ayes have it, so ordered. We will now reconvene as the Board of Supervisors and we'll move into our next item of business. Flood Control District. The Board of Supervisors will convene as the Board of Directors of the Greeley County Flood Control District and will reconvene as the Board of Supervisors following consideration of this next item, the consent agenda.
I move that we approve the consent agenda as listed.
I second that motion.
Motion has been made and second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Ayes have it, so ordered. We will now reconvene as the Board of Supervisors and we will move into our next item of business. Veda Phelps, Executive Director, Southeastern Arizona Work.
Good morning, Mr.
Floor is
Chair
yours.
and Board of Supervisors. Thank you for, once a year you have to hear from me. I'm very sorry, but our agreement is that we will give you an annual report every year. Our board president, Ron Curtis, was planning on coming. However, he had a family emergency, but Martha is here from Freeport. She sits on our board of directors. And Marina is here who runs the office day to day. She's the one who really knows what's going on. So once I do the annual report, if you want to know specific things about Green Lake County, she's your lady. Okay, so I believe you all have our annual report. And
Yep.
if the boards that I sit on, the first thing I do is I look at their audit, because as a board member, I don't want to be in trouble fiscally. So if you open your book to the very last page, the audit is in there. The last page is the schedule of findings and question costs. As you can see, there are none. And we are listed as a low-risk auditee, which I'm very proud of. We've had no findings for the last 7 years. So that makes us very happy.
Excellent work.
Excellent.
Well, that's my finance department.
They
Okay,
really try to find something, right?
they do. They do.
That's quite an accomplishment.
Well, thank you. And on page 7 and 8 of your report, it talks about our allocations. The good news is our unemployment rate is low. Our bad news is that our unemployment rate is low. 2/3 of the formulas of how we get our money is based on unemployment. So our allocation has gone down almost $1 million.
Thank you.
No, it's for you.
Thank you.
This is the last 5 years of applications.
Thank you.
As you can see, since 21, 22, our allocation has gone down by over $1 million. And that's for our 3 counties. So even with, I'm going to talk to you about the big, beautiful bill, which is also very derogatory for workforce. But even if we didn't have the big, beautiful bill, we would still have less money. So we're having to learn on how to work with less money. And unfortunately, that really cuts down on the amount of money we have for training, for our training dollars. Okay, on page 9, we have, I'm sorry,
Can I
yes, sir.
ask a question? So is the decline from 21, 22 to now, is it tied to I mean, is it in correlation with the unemployment numbers?
Yes.
Yeah.
The formula is based on 3 factors, 2 of which are unemployment. One is the number of economically disadvantaged people in the area.
Hmm.
And unfortunately, no matter how good or how bad you do, you get the same amount of money,
Right.
which really bugs me personally, but that's just me.
Thank you.
Okay. On page 9, there is a list of our performance indicators and how we did on our performance. And as you can see on the very left-hand column, or right-hand column, I'm sorry. In green is we exceeded all those performance standards. The ones we've made every performance standard, but we exceeded 12.
Could you verify what page you're on? 'Cause
Page 9.
9 doesn't have a
Right here.
graph.
That's the other 9.
Oh, there's another 9.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Sorry. So do you have any questions on the performance standards? These are federal standards. Okay, on page 15 is a list of our statistics based on the location of our offices. We have offices in Sierra Vista, Douglas, Graham County, and Greenlee County. In the year 24-25, we saw 16,438 clients come in for services to the 4 locations. And you can see what location, how much were for each location.
So you've had an increase from
Yes.
24 to 25.
Yes.
Or from, yeah.
Yeah, over the year, we've had an increase of, it's only 265.
Yeah.
But we're starting to see more people because it seems like there's more businesses that are not hiring any longer because of the economy and so forth. It's very, very sad. And then there's a list of success stories, and I hope you have an opportunity to read the success stories. And I'm hoping that Marina has at least one that she can talk to you about. Okay. My biggest concern is our future. And I've talked to Derek about this, and he's been very, very helpful in giving us some clues of what we might do and how we might do it. And I really appreciate the support of you all and of Derek. So in the packet I just handed out, behind the allocation this is the president's proposed budget for 26. As you can see, workforce is hardly anything at all. It's cut down to 2.96 billion, excuse me. And that's for all workforce and 10 other agencies. He's thinking of combining them. The second sheet is what the Senate and the House have recommended for allocations for us for next year. They haven't come to an agreement, of course. As we know, they've got the government shut down right now. But the House recommends $712 million for the adult programs, but they would then rescind the $712 million and give it to us the next year. So I guess 1 year you do without. Fortunately, we think we have enough carryover to last us for that year that we would maybe not have any money. As you can see, though, on their recommendation, there's 0 money for our youth program. according to the House budget. So we're waiting. We know nothing about nothing because the Congress has not come up with a budget. And then, of course, it's the president's and then the House and the Senate budget that counts. We're hoping that the Senate budget goes through. It's pretty much level funded. So we should get about the same amount of money in the next year. And then I also gave you called the federal updates. It's about the House and the Senate budget, proposed budgets. And I guess until Congress decides to come back at the federal level, we won't know exactly what our allocation might or might not be. Once we know, we can work with that. And as I talked to Derek, we've thought about maybe getting a mobile unit if we have to close offices, so that at least we can continue to give services. At this point in time, we don't know what we don't know. And every time we ask anybody who we hope knows, nobody knows what our future is. But we are hoping that we at least get level funded so we can continue to support clients and let people have training and get employed. That's our main job, is helping people get jobs and helping businesses find people.
Rita, when you say mobile home, is that in?
No, a
lieu of-
mobile unit.
Oh, mobile
When I say
unit,
mobile home, I'm sorry,
Okay.
Mhm.
a mobile unit.
mobile unit.
Yeah,
Okay, instead of that office that you have now? Is that what you're talking about?
we don't know.
Okay,
We don't want to close this office because let me tell you, Marina has done a yeoman's job on getting that office known and getting clients in there. Let me tell you a quick story. I was down about 10 days ago, 10 days, 2 weeks. And I walked in, there's a young man in there. He was probably his late 30s, early 40s. Once you're 82, everybody's young. But he was there for services. He did not even have an email account. Marina set him up an email account. She helped him fill out an application. She submitted the application. She told him how he would get notice of an interview. We have a room that can be used with the door shut to do an interview online. And I was just really impressed. This man didn't even have an email account, which I thought was unheard of. But we still have people who don't have email accounts. So, he couldn't tell me enough good things about what Marina had done for him. And I know she has, because she's really great. She has taken the Greenlee office from 0 to 1,000 in just the few short years that she's worked for us. So Marina, would you like to say something? Okay. And if you have any questions specifically about Greenlee, she's your person.
Thank you.
thank you, Vita. Floor is yours, Marina.
Thank you, Chairman Gomez. My name's Marina Morales. I'm the business service representative and also the center coordinator for Arizona at Work. That's next to Goodman Chiropractor and Copper Cloud Auto Service. Do you have any questions for me?
I don't at this point. I mean, I'd like to thank you for everything that you do, and including Veda there.
Absolutely.
I think this is a very, very good program for this area. I don't know if these gentlemen have any questions.
Brief question. Well, again, I'll echo, thank you for what you do. Because I know that I've sent, I work in the contractor world and I've sent them to you.
Yes.
Because if they're trying to staff up locally or whatever, I'm like, well, that's where you need to start. So,
Right.
and so I'm hoping that has worked out. Do you have any ideas on how to reach more people, or reach other contractors, or get so that others besides the people that I'm telling, hey,
Right.
go talk to them?
Mhm.
Is there a way that you might be able to communicate to those contractors from outside of this area to say, hey, come to see us, we have a list of people that are
I would like to in the future do a job fair for contractors, even to be able to get in with FMI to do their career fair that they do for students,
Yeah.
or even the job fair that they do for the community. I would eventually like to be able to do that. I know I do go into the school. I worked last year with Mrs. Baker. We did a outreach to life, which was kind of preparing the seniors to, do a resume, do a job application, do an interview, how to dress, what to wear, how to properly answer questions. So that was really great to be able to do that, because come April and May, when Freeport opens those internships for water trucks, truck driving, I had 18 seniors that didn't know how to do a resume. And I wish I could have provided them for you, because I have a little cheat sheet that I call it. It's called a pocket resume. I just hand it to them and they fill out all the information, bring it back to me, and I type it up into this snazzy little resume. And I've only had one that had an issue, but it was just because he didn't complete the electrical program, and that was nothing on my part. But a lot of them did get hired on with FMI. And then the gentleman that Veda is talking about, no email address, nothing. Didn't I asked him, I was like, can you move the mouse so that way we can get to, Google to search FCX jobs? And he looked at me and he's like, you have a mouse? And I looked at him and I don't want to say his name, but I was like, yeah, you just grab the little black thing right there. It moves. It's called a mouse. And he looked at me and he was like, I thought you had a real mouse in here. And I was like, no, but he did kill a scorpion for me. So he's a good luck charm. But yeah, he was struggling a bit. And I am happy to announce that he did get an email for his interview with FMI. So we did that the other day, and let me tell you, he was a bundle of nerves. It was great to see him progress to do that and to be able to feel completed in doing his first job interview, because he hasn't had a job in almost 20 years.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, so I'm crossing my fingers that all works out for him. He did really well on his interview, so that's the part of my job that I love. I came from being a 911 dispatcher to workforce, and at first I was like, what did I get myself into? But I love being able to work with the community. I mean, as Mr. Campbell knows, I sit on a lot of community boards and I do a lot of community projects for Greeley County. And this one is, one of my favorites, not just because I get paid to do it, but because, I meet a lot of good people and I help a lot of people. I see a lot of people that come into my office that need help. And if I'm able to help them, then that's my goal.
That's great.
Great. That's great.
Well, good
Well, you
work.
know,
Thank you.
you mentioned job fair and based on the question that Ron had, the young lady sitting in the back row back there would be the lady that you need to talk to about job fair.
Yeah.
That's Martha right there.
She told me she was going to be quiet because she didn't want to get in trouble.
Well,
But I do also, I help do events at the Clifton Social Club, and I was hoping to be able to one day hold some type of job fair there and see if I can't bring the chamber to help do a lot of like the economic growth to kind of just bring it all together somehow. But that's one of my goals is to do a job fair.
Well, if you need any, reach out to me if you need any contacts. or anything like
Absolutely.
that. I'd love to be able to help. And same with at the school, if you're gonna get in, to the school, and maybe it's not just in one class, but maybe it's in our CAT Academy or something to where you can
Yeah.
kind of go over, building a resume, because those are things that
yeah.
kids don't know.
Oh, and you absolutely have to have a resume for
Yeah.
FMI. It's the first thing that pops up after you make your account. You either can do it manually, which is a lot of work, or you can have it already, set up and ready to go, which is my part. And then we just plug it in and boom, you're done. Like you just answer a couple questions and then you're good to go. But that is definitely one of my goal, and I would love to be able to work with you and get that done.
I'm here to help wherever I can.
Great, thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Morales, for all your efforts. I'm from down Duncan and
Yes.
it's a great service there too. So
I do.
thank you
Every
for your-
time I go to Duncan, I leave flyers at the ranch house and the chaparral, and when I go back, they're gone. So I don't know
Great
if,
work. Keep up the good work.
thank you. I appreciate it.
Okay.
We do
Thank you,
think,
Marina.
we do make difference in people's life.
Mhm.
We definitely do. What I would like to ask you all as a favor is to write to your Congress people and support workforce and try to get our allocations back. And the more they hear from you all, because you're in a supervisory position, the better our chances might be of getting the funds. So if you could write to the legislatures, tell them you support workforce and ask them to make the allocation as large as possible, we would really appreciate it. And again, we really appreciate all your support. And I know Derek's available anytime I've called or come up, he's available. And I really appreciate that. And so if you think of any questions, we have a motto, we don't suffer in silence, but we don't expect anybody else to either. So if you have questions, let me know or let Marina know. So we really appreciate your time. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you very much.
If I might add, she won't toot her own horn, but Veda did come to see me. We had a very candid talk about the challenges that lie ahead for Arizona at work. And I wanted to express how much I appreciated the soberness and reality that she's facing the challenges. What we've had in our community for years and years and years has been ideal and very, very helpful. We've talked about it before, but if you ask Americans, is the government too big? You'd probably have 100% say yes. Where do you cut? And it falls apart. This one of those programs has been very successful. And it's ironic where success tends to work you out of a job, because what they have done, the numbers as shown in the annual report, indicate a very successful program. And you're rewarded by less money. And then given federal legislation that says you may not get any. But I have appreciated the reality check and the very I hate to say mature, but it's a mature way of looking at the realities that they're facing. And she, like I say, she was very candid with me, very candid with this board this morning about how they intend to continue to extend services in any way they can. And she won't say that, but I will on her behalf. It was outstanding and refreshing to see that kind of candor and honesty about the frankness about their circumstance.
Great. Good work.
Well said. Thank you, Derek. Okay. We'll move into our next item of business. Tori Cranford, Certified Business Analyst, Eastern Arizona College Small Business Development Center, representing the Greeley County Small Business Women of the Year Committee. Floor is yours, Tori.
Good morning,
Morning.
Mr. Chairman, supervisors, and the community members that are here today. Thank you for taking the time today to recognize National Women's Small Business Month. October is a time to celebrate the women who have chosen to step into entrepreneurship, women who bring creativity, courage, and resilience to everything they do. Across the nation, women-owned businesses are one of the fastest growing segments of our economy, and their impact reaches far beyond the bottom line. They create jobs, strengthen families, and build communities that thrive. Here in Greeley County, we have incredible examples of those with that entrepreneurial spirit, especially right here in Clifton, where women are playing a major role in revitalizing Chase Creek. These women, business owners, are breathing new life into historic spaces, creating welcoming places for residents and visitors, and preserving the unique character that makes this community special. Their dedication and hard work are not just rebuilding storefronts, they're rebuilding pride, connection, and opportunity. National Women's Small Business Month reminds us that behind every shop, studio, or office is a woman who had a vision, took a chance, and poured her heart into making it real. These women embody commitment not only to their businesses, but to their families and to the future of Greeley County. So today we thank you to the women. We say thank you to the women of Greeley County for their innovation, their determination, and their lasting impact. And thank you to the Board of Supervisors for recognizing their efforts and supporting the continued growth of women entrepreneurs in our communities. On behalf of the Small Business Development Center at Eastern Arizona College, thank you for your ongoing partnership in celebrating National Women's Small Business Month with us.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yes.
Do you have any questions or anything of Tori?
No, I think it's a great I think it's great to recognize, you know what I mean, the small businesses and the women-owned businesses in Green Lake County. And I know that you mentioned the ones on Chase Creek. I know that Chase Creek Marketplace, it's still, it's trying to open, you know what I mean? I know that she's in there, really making some major improvements, so.
Well, and we're here, we'll be here twice a year with our Dream Builder program now, starting in January. We'll have a new cohort start. That is a program that was put together by Freeport McMoran with Thunderbird's School of Global Management. They created this to teach women how to start their business, how to write a business plan, how to market their business, how to understand their financial documents and keep their inventories so they could start to grow businesses. And we've had great success here in Green Lake County as our cohorts have grown in the last 3 years since I've been teaching it, from 4 women to 20
That's awesome.
each cohort. So they're growing. You've got a lot of home-based businesses here in this community that are growing. And as they grow, they're going to start opening up these storefronts even more. So thank you so much.
Thank you for coming in to visit us.
I can read this proclamation if you want me to.
Please, that would be wonderful.
Okay, this is the National Women's Small Business Month, October 2025. Whereas working women constitute 57.5% of the nation's workforce and strive daily to serve their communities, their states, and their nation in professional, civic, and culture capacities. And whereas 39.1% of all United States businesses are women-owned, translating to approximately $272,567 million plus women-owned businesses that generate 2.2 trillion in annual revenue and employ 9.4 million workers. And whereas women should be applauded for their contributions to the workplace and the financial stability of their families, especially during times of economic downturn when more women have become the primary breadwinners of their households, and whereas a central purpose of National Women's Small Business Month is to promote equity for all women and to help create better conditions for women in businesses through the study and advocacy of social, educational, and economic issues impacting women in the workplace. And whereas the Eastern Arizona College Small Business Development Center, through its Small Business Women of the Year Committee, proudly recognizes the outstanding achievements of women business owners in Graham and Greeley counties each October with the annual Small Business Women of the Year Award to be presented on October 30th, 2025. Now, therefore, be it resolved that October 2025 be recognized as National Women's Small Business Month, and that we honor and celebrate the remarkable women entrepreneurs and business leaders nationally, statewide, and locally, whose vision, determination, and contributions strengthen our communities and drive our economic forward. And be it further resolved that Greeley County be commended for leading the way with 62.7% of its labor force comprised of women, setting a powerful example of innovation, resilience, and economic impact for the state of Arizona and beyond.
Thank you.
That's great.
Thank you, ladies.
Thank
Thank-
you.
Okay, thank you very much, Tori. I appreciate it. Okay,
Do we need to adopt the proclamation?
Should be by motion and vote, yes.
Okay.
Unless
I-
you want to.
Yeah, I know. Well,
I
the
entertain-
pressure.
I entertain for motion.
Well, I move that we adopt the proclamation regarding National Women's Small Business Month as presented.
I second that motion.
Motion has been made a second. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, I call for vote. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, ayes have it, so ordered. Okay, thank you. We'll move into our next item of business. Justine Holguin, Fair and Events Director. The floor is yours.
Good morning, Supervisors. Thank you for having me this morning. So this report offers a recap of the 2025 Greenlee County Fair held Thursday, September 18th through Sunday, September 21st. I would like to start off by saying the fair was a success. Community engagement was high with positive feedback from vendors, exhibitors, and the public. Key successes included improvements to the fairgrounds, strong vendor and exhibitor participation, and a noticeable increase in family attendance. Partnerships with sponsors and county departments contributed greatly to the event's overall success. Over the 4 days, our total attendance was 8,865. This does not include the car show attendance because we had to route them through another gate, so they weren't driving through all the patrons. Attendance was taken daily from 5 a.m. to 9 p.m. and Sunday from 5 a.m. to 7 p.m. On Thursday, we had 912 attendees. This was a free gate day. On Friday, there was 2,860. Saturday, 4,405. And Sunday, there was 668. This was also a free gate. And most of those people that attended on Sunday were there to pick up exhibits or their animals. Participation in the exhibit room and livestock barn was outstanding with more than 1,000 total entries submitted by the Junior Livestock Association, Morenci Schools, Duncan Schools, and the community. We had 17 commercial vendors and 14 food vendors that provided a variety of food and dessert type foods. For entertainment, we had the Sun Valley Rides Carnival, the National Intercollegiate Rodeo Association, mutton busting, a foam party, a cornhole tournament, and the live band on Friday and Saturday. So with the fair, our primary income sources consisted of sponsorships, admissions, sales, and rental fees. We received $13,900 in sponsorships, $13,205 in admissions, $200 in livestock stall rentals, $1,062 in ice sales, $2,915 in vendor space rental fees. And from the Sun Valley Rides ticket sales, we received $2,197. So that brings our total revenue to $33,479. Our major expenses included the Sun Valley Rides Carnival, the rodeo, entertainment, junior livestock expenses, our temporary employees, and overtime paid to county employees, and the food to feed those people throughout the week prior and through the event. So Sun Valley Rides Carnival operated under a $60,000 guaranteed contract. Anything over $60,000 was a 75-25% split, with 75% going to Sun Valley Rides and the 25% coming to Greenlee County. Our total ride ticket sales was $68,788. Sun Valley Rides, so that put us over the $60K. So we made our money back on the carnival, which was good for this year. Sun Valley Rides took $6,000, well, out on the 75-25 split. $6,591 went to Sun Valley Rides and $2,197 came to Greenlee County. The total expenses on the rodeo was $27,138.68. Entertainment combined was $15,100.26. And junior livestock expenses was $3,980. For temporary employees, we paid $5,510, and overtime for Greenlee County employees was $9,759, and food was $853. And so the total expenditures for the 2025 Greenlee County Fair amounted to $62,343. After accounting for all revenues, the fair concluded with a net loss of $28,806.94. And after I was reviewing that, I think that loss mainly comes from the rodeo. And that's just because we don't charge for sign up fees for them. All that money goes to the association and that's how they pay out their participants. So, but the rodeo does bring in a lot of people. So it's kind of so for our marketing efforts, we marketed the event, through social media, flyers and radio advertisements. Flyers were distributed in Alpine, Lordsburg, Silver City, Wilcox, and throughout Greenlee County. Advertising was also done through Double R Communication Valley Visions serving the Gila Valley, as well as 2 local radio stations. Sun Valley Rides assisted by sponsoring a paid Facebook advertisement, which helped the fair reach over 88,000 views online. Although we operated at a financial loss, it's important to recognize that the fair has potential for future growth, whether it's in sponsorships, attendance, or participation. And I'll also continue to explore ways to minimize the financial loss incurred by the fair. So this year I implemented small changes that I believe would be beneficial both logistically and financially. One of the adjustments was simplifying gate admissions by replacing separate adult and child pricing with a flat rate of $5 per person. This helped speed up vehicle entry lines and reduced cash handling errors at the gate. County employees managed the cash boxes at the gate and reported that they appreciated this change as it made handling cash much easier. Another change I implemented was eliminating premium checks, which were budgeted at approximately $5,000 last year. Many checks for small amounts. So the premium checks were on the ribbons in the exhibit room. For a 3rd place ribbon, you would receive $1, 2nd place ribbon, $2, and 1st place, $3. And many of those checks were going uncashed. And so the way I looked at it is it held up a lot of money that we could potentially use towards entertainment or another expense at the fair. And I recognize this was a big change to make. So in place, we offered a free admission ban to attendees or for people who entered an exhibit into the fair or an animal. And although we gave up the $5 in gate admissions, it was likely that the attendees would participate in carnival rides, allowing us to recoup that revenue. So I had a lot of positive feedback on that. I didn't have anyone really upset that we did away with the premiums. And the kids were so happy to show their free wristbands coming into the fair. Outside of the fair, they were excited to talk about them. So I think that was a win for us. One of the bigger changes implemented this year was allowing a third-party organization to provide bar services during the fair. The Morenci Lions Club offered these services and expressed how much they enjoyed participating, as it allowed them to raise funds to support their Toys for Tots program during the holiday season. Our facility staff noted that this arrangement alleviated a significant amount of work for them, allowing them to focus their efforts on other areas of the fair. So overall, I received positive feedback on nearly every aspect of the fair. While there are minor adjustments needed to be made, attendees were very pleased with the free admission wristbands provided in place of premium checks. The community responded positively to the new layout of the grounds and appreciated the expanded space, expressing excitement for future renovations. And attendees enjoyed also having a full carnival this year and the variety of food available throughout the event. Excuse me, sorry. So this does conclude my report. I would like to thank all of our sponsors, volunteers, staff, and partners who made it possible. I would also like to thank you guys for purchasing or allowing us to purchase the golf cart that saved us so many times throughout the event. So it was a good one. I'd also like to recognize a gentleman with the Greenlee County Search and Rescue who served as a parking attendant on Friday. He was out there by himself, and Reed did fly his drone over the fair on Saturday. And I believe having that gentleman out there Friday, parking the cars in lines, people just knew the next day to kind of park the same way. And he did a wonderful job. He showed up in the morning, and I think by 7 o'clock, he's like, okay, I'm tired. I got to get out of here. And I felt so bad because there was so much going on. I kind of forgot that he was even out there, but he did a wonderful job, and I'd really like to thank him. So thank you, guys. Are there any questions or any feedback?
Gosh.
That's quite a lot of information in numbers, but.
Oh, that, I mean, I
Perfect.
don't think I've heard a report like that after a fair that we've had in the past. That's incredible. Everything that went on there, and I heard nothing but positive. I wasn't able to go, but I heard nothing but positive feedback in regards to the fair. And kudos to you and everyone that worked it and everyone that was there. And do we have records of the people that have attended in the past? The numbers like Justine just popped out with?
We do have some.
Yeah, we have some. I was actually taking a look at it, and it seemed as if there was a total of 2,000 free attendees in the past and 912 paid attendees. So I know that our number was below 3,000 in last year. And the year before that, I believe the numbers were nearly the same, but that was also rolling out of COVID. So that may be, one of the reasons for the
And this year, what you said 8,000, some 8,000 some?
8,000, yeah, 8,865. And again, that didn't include the car show, and I would estimate that the car show probably brought in about 50 attendees. And then we had some people kind of finding ways in throughout the fairgrounds as well, so that also didn't include them. But yeah, it was good for this year, and I definitely think that we can build on it.
I think it was great for this year. I'd like to personally thank Justine. I was there for the majority of the fair, and every time I was there, Justine was there working away and taking care of everyone and making sure everybody had their needs taken care of. So thank you very much, Justine. I want to let you know that. And I think she deserves a gold star for her work. Also, I'd like to thank all the county employees. It was neat to see the county employees step up and participate in that activity. I think I came in the gate one morning, Friday morning, about 5 a.m. and county employees were already there on site and working and working the ticket booth. So thank them for that. It was neat to see that. And all the improvements that have been made out there too. I'd like to thank the physical facilities group for picking up and attending the meetings that were early, because we had our planning meetings. I think that helped everything go smoother and correcting some things that have been happening in years past. So thank you very much for being so open and receptive to that information and being so positive. I'd like to thank you and thank all of the county employees for all the help. Thank you.
Well, I'd just like to, I'll echo those comments, and just to say that, yeah, you mentioned the golf cart. I mean, I did get a ride on it, at once. I had a great driver, Austin. Yeah.
Austin was always near the golf cart.
He was on there.
The board's gonna have a golf cart.
I streamed going in one and driving with the other, but no, I thought it was fantastic. And I don't think that we ever believe that the county fair is going to be a money-making proposition. You know what I mean? And so what we want to do is put on a good event for our residents and represent Green County well. And I think in my history of being on the board, I mean, this was the best fair that I've ever attended. And so I think kudos to you making those changes. And I'm sure that you're going to be thinking about, things to improve it for the next year. And so anyway, great job. No complaints at all. It was a great experience, and I've had nothing but positive feedback as well. So good.
And a great morale builder for the county overall. So thank you.
Yeah.
Mr. Chairman.
And I just wanted to just say one last comment, and thank you for such a detailed and prompt report that you brought to us so soon. Thank you very much for that. Justine, go ahead, Derek.
I want to echo some of what you said, but also add perhaps some nuance to it. So you probably noticed I don't say we because there was a team, but the parking area was completely reconstituted. The area where we parked for years and years and years was changed. The carnival took up most of that. David and his crew created an entirely new parking area. Not only are we in the middle of construction of ball fields and other amenities on the fairgrounds, but all you saw was a very neat pile of dirt where that is going on. And they did it in such a way that it protected the work that was already had been done. Tony and his crew are the unsung, unnoticed people. The wiring works, the plumbing works, and if it works, you don't know. But they were there not only leading up to, but during it. My father commented, there was one of his employees that came up and twice in about half an hour unloaded a garbage can. It's just going on constantly. But I really, I got a text at 12:48 on Sunday morning from Justine, talking about that we had met our goal for the carnival. That was a risk that it was a studied risk. We expected to lose money on the carnival. And we didn't. So that's, and she did not count that as income, but that's income. That covered an expense that was our single largest item on the expense sheet. And we not only covered it, it cost us nothing, but we brought in a little bit of money as well. So, and throughout, even on Sunday, when you could tell there was no gas left in the tank, Justine had already begun the analytics, not just reporting, but the analytics. Here's what we can do better. Here's where we can save money. I think we can do this better. The debrief we had last week was one of a kind because it was fact driven. It was information driven, and there are improvements being made. We had contracts in place months before the event. And I really appreciate the organization that Justine has brought to this. It was a huge community celebration. And her goal was to reach further into our community and touch, sub-communities that we don't normally reach. And for that, I commend her tremendously. She started literally before this was over to look to next year. And that was outstanding. Cannot say enough good about that.
Great work.
Yeah.
Great work, everyone.
Thank you.
I had one question, did we lock in the carnival for next year?
I reached out to him of last week and he hasn't gotten back to me, but he's also he's usually traveling Mondays and Tuesdays are their travel days, and then they set up for fairs. So I'm sure once it settles down for him, then
Yeah.
he'll probably reach back out. But
Great.
yes, I'm sure he'd be happy to come back though.
Excellent. Well,
Great.
good work.
Thank
Great
you.
report.
Thank you. Yes.
Thank you very much again.
Okay. Moving to our next item of business, Tony Hines, Public Works Manager, Facilities and Fleet. The floor is yours. Tony.
Make it just as positive as the last one, okay?
Can't top the golf cart. Go for that. Good morning, Tony Hines, Public Works Manager. So item A, we're looking for permission to go out and solicit bids for the lighting for the ballpark that we're doing in Duncan.
I move that we adopt the request to solicit bids for the lighting at the Duncan Ball Field.
And I'll second that.
Motion has been made and second. All in favor, signify any further discussion?
Discussion, sir.
Go ahead.
So just for the one ball field?
For the one right now that we need to finish by the end of January. Yes.
Okay. But as part of the scope that we're gonna send out, are we gonna include both ball fields, but say, hey, just quote us on one? That way we kind of have the similar,
We can do that.
the same kind of equipment, the same kind of lights and poles,
Yeah.
and we know that it's, half the,
Right.
half for the next time. So we can just stick with one vendor for that.
Yep. That'll work.
Okay.
Also talking with Tony, they're going to be stubbing out, I believe, right? For future work for those other fields.
Correct. Yes. So
So-
we'll have lighting in the multi-purpose field. We'll have lighting in the playground area. All that'll be included later. But right now, we just want those.
So that those preparations will be taking.
Yeah, no, that's good.
Taking place.
That's what I was envisioning. So that's good.
Correct.
Okay, that's all discussion.
Okay, after discussion, all in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Aye. Ayes have it, so ordered. Next item.
So item B, we're looking to purchase an equipment trailer for roads. This was the item that was tabled in the last meeting. I went back and updated the quotes for the trailers that the roads crew wanted. My recommendation is going with a Craftsman trailer. And I need to up the not to exceed amount, because I forgot the shipping on it. So I'd like to not to exceed 30,000.
And what model or the
Craftsman.
size?
The Craftsman HP 45, it would be the 25+5.
Okay. Okay.
All right, with that said, I entertain for motion.
Like to move that we purchase one equipment trailer for the roads department.
If I could add in the amount not to exceed
And then,
30,000.
and the amount not to exceed 35,000.
30.
30,000.
Let's not give them too
Sorry
much.
about that. The amount not to exceed $30,000. I was reading the wrong one.
I'll second that.
All right, motion has been made in second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, call for vote. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Ayes have it, so ordered. Thank you, Tony.
deal, thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you very much, Tony.
All right, we'll move into our next item of business. Illustrious Reed Larson, engineer. Floor is yours.
Good morning, gentlemen. Chairman Gomez, it's great to see you back front and center where you belong. I want to
Thanks.
suggest maybe a post-meeting pull-up contest.
Yeah,
I
right.
still think he'd win. I think he'd win.
He could
I
demonstrate.
think I can finally beat on.
Even with his injury, he'd win.
Let's see where, we have been working on purchasing land adjacent to the landfill for a future expansion of the landfill. And I went back through my notes and we applied for this back in July of 2022. So it's been 3 years and 3 months. Wow. But, a few days ago, a couple of state land representatives drove to Greeley County and had the auction on the proverbial front steps of the courthouse. Greeley County was the only bidder, thankfully, and we were successful. So we're now seeking concurrence from the board to send Arizona State Land Department a big fat check.
Okay. Gentlemen, have
And the amount,
questions?
I think the amount was 33,000.
No, that was
Did I
the
read that
amount
wrong?
that we needed to give them to become a qualified bidder. So there's subsequent check to cover the rest of the expenses. And in total, those are gonna be right at about $115,000 for 91 acres. So our all-in cost per acre for that purchase is about $1,300.
Can I ask a question?
Go ahead.
When they talk about going through here and looking at the improvements that they had calculated improvements of $10,000 or something like that, who made those improvements and what were they?
So that was a stock tank.
Oh, okay.
I'll show you these. I've got. But gentlemen share two of them, you want to Derek, but down in the corner of that 90 acres, you'll see a stock tank there.
Mm-hmm.
And we wanted to include that in what we purchased because stormwater reports to that location. And that allows us to control stormwater off of our site, off of our landfill, which ADQ appreciates, that we're being good stewards. So that land had been leased by a local rancher. I can't remember his name.
Lacey, I think. Okay, is what I read.
Yeah, that doesn't sound correct, but anyway, somebody at the state land department valued the value of that stock tank at $10,000, and so as the winning bidder, we're required to reimburse that leasee for that improvement.
Mm.
It said the owner of the improvements is Walter Steve Lacey and Anne Marie Lacey. But anyway. But I was curious.
Yeah.
I didn't know if there was a shack out there or, you know, you mean?
No, no, sir. Just a lot of rocks in a row.
Yeah, okay.
Caused us some consternation for a while. And
Okay.
yes.
And again, what was your, not to exceed amount or whatever for this? 'Cause in the document, it says 96.2, but I don't think that'll.
That, yeah, that doesn't cover all the
Doesn't cover
additional
it.
expenses. So
Okay.
the out the door price is,
115,300.
which is already the bid price, but that'll cover all the expenses as well.
Yeah, just know that over time, we've paid for an Alta survey, we've paid for an archaeological survey.
Mhm.
We've paid for a phase 1 ESA, we've paid application fees, we've paid for an appraisal. We have to pay for the auction fee, the cost of advertising for the auction. So when you sum all of that up, you get to the 115.
Okay.
But the number on the agenda form is just the price of the land.
Okay. So do we,
So do we,
question, do we say for the 115 for the, I mean, for the
Yes,
whole
that
entire amount?
authorizes all expenditures for the acquisition.
the 115,300?
Is that the total? That is right?
Yes.
1,300?
And just, I don't know how you want to handle this, but they are still doing some machinations at the state land department, and they will send us a final invoice. And that final number could float
Potentially a little bit higher,
down
huh?
a little bit.
The one,
So for a little
120,
bit
not
of
to
cushion,
exceed,
if
not
you
to
have-
exceed 120, I'm sorry, Reed, not to exceed 120.
Yeah, that should cover it.
okay, that makes sense.
All right. So I entertain for motion.
All right, well, I move that we approve the ratification of the auction results for the purchase of the state land adjacent to the landfill in the amount of not to exceed 120,000.
I second that motion.
Motion has been made and second. Any further discussion?
No, sir.
Hearing none, call for vote. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, ayes have it, so ordered.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Next, B. Next item, B.
So this agenda item, gentlemen, we're making slow progress on the new public works building. Actually, we're making quicker progress. We're ahead of steam. We solicited bids for erection of the building, which we had acquired from Mueller. It's sitting out there on dunnage. And you have before you the bidders and the amounts that they bid. I recommend that you not consider Sollers for the simple reason that they did not include in their bid acquisition of the front door and the windows for the building. And that was clearly stipulated in the bid specifications that the bidder was to acquire and supply that door and those windows. So if you exclude Sollers, then you have Focus Industries and Ward Brothers. And I know that Tony specifically and Greenlee County in particular has a comfort level with Ward Brothers. They've done great work for the county over the years. But I just don't know how we would justify awarding to them when Focus Industries. And I did, after we opened and reviewed the bid, I did reach out to Focus Industries to verify that he had done that type of work in the past. And I'll read you his response. He sent some photos of a building he had recently completed. He says he's run a number of metal buildings, and he says we are very confident with the Mueller building.
Good. No, and I know that I've had experience with Napier, which was Joe Napier from Velocity prior to that, right? So, and there's a difference of $29,700, you know, between Focus and Ward Brothers. So
Between Focus and Ward Brothers is not that much. That
No.
between Focus and Sollers. But to your point, Ward Brothers is about 30% higher.
From my calculations, Focus is a total of 55,850. And Ward Brothers is is 85,550. So if I minus the 55,850 gives me, oh yeah, it's 29,700.
Supervisor Campbell, I'm not sure. Getting
I'm showing Ward Brothers. Oh, I apologize. I apologize. I'm making an error. The amount I was adding both lines.
Oh, gotcha.
Sorry.
Gotcha.
The amount above the low. So yeah, so that difference
That's an
is a
engineering-
little different.
That's an engineering thing that could be a little confusing.
Hey,
Or, you know, hey.
keeping you guys on your toes, man.
All right, so the difference is 14,800, right?
Yes, sir.
14,850. Still,
Yeah, so that's about a 30%.
yeah. Well, I apologize for that calculation error. But okay,
Okay,
I move that we get this right. I move that we award the bid for erection of the Mueller supplied metal building to serve our new public works facility to Focus Industries in the amount of $49,800.
and I'll second that.
motion has been made and second. Any further discussion?
No, sir.
Nope.
Call for vote. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Ayes have it, so ordered.
Supervisor or Chairman Gomez, before we leave that up, I just want to say thank you to Supervisor Campbell. He provided me the names with some potential bidders, a handful of them, and we got a good response from all of them, which we had posted it like we're supposed to do, but I didn't know who built metal buildings, and through Supervisor Campbell's contacts, we got really good participation.
That's good.
He must have wanted a golf cart for the savings that.
That parking lot's a long way.
Just kidding. All right. Well, thank you, Ron.
Nope. No, it's
Appreciate
good.
it. Okay. We'll move into our next item of business. C.
This agenda item, I'm trying to find the form here. So as you know, gentlemen, as we work on this new building for the Public Works, and as we do work at the fairgrounds, we're constantly with Derek evaluating what we can do in-house and what it makes sense to farm out. And David Manus and Derek have been talking recently about his workload and what we need to do at the fairgrounds. And they reached the conclusion that we would go out for bid for the remaining dirt work. So Tony talked to you about the lights at the upper ball field, the first ball field. And David's crews completed the earthwork for that ball field. There's still quite a bit of dirt left to push around. And after talking about it, we desire to go out and see what we could get a local contractor to push that dirt around for. And that doesn't necessarily mean that we have to accept, that you have to accept their bid, but we're looking for that flexibility.
Good.
And that bid is going to include pretty much all that area in there, or just the ball field area?
Just the three remaining areas. You have the multi-purpose field, I think what Tony called it, or soccer field, the rectangular field, ball field number 2, and then that third area is that other.
Which potentially is going to be the splash pad area.
Yes.
Right. Okay. Yeah. So
And then there's a big stockpile of dirt there that Derek talked about earlier that would be involved in this. That would be essentially a borrow source for them.
Well, and I just want, again, if you need to reach out to me to look out, for any other participants, I can definitely give you some contact.
I move that we solicit bids for mass grading for the ballpark recreation fields at the county fairgrounds.
I'll second that.
Motion has been made and second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, I call for a vote. All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Ayes have it, so ordered.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Thank
Reed.
you.
Thank you, Mr. Larson.
Thank you very much. Have a good day. Okay. Next item of business, Derek Repair, County Administrator, and it's gonna be Austin Adams.
One of us, we'll tag team on the calendar. With respect to budget and legislative, there's nothing really new. There'll be reports coming out probably later this month on the state or projected state revenues. Those are important because that starts this sort of budget thought process of the legislature, what will happen next year. The 3 and 5 year projections show that there'd be a slight surplus last year, perhaps even a smaller one in FY 27, and then it begins to dip. And there's currently a structural deficit. Now, that projects revenues and it also projects increasing costs. But what that often does is set sort of the mood for budgets at the legislative level. We'll have a report on the state of our revenues at our next meeting that we expect those monthly reports later this week. But all indications are we're still in good shape on the revenue side and our expenses are tracking as budgeted. We have reached out in conjunction with the 2 towns in the county to ask for some assistance from the legislature to try and get some improvements on transportation, to work on roads, both within the town of Duncan and the town of Clifton. Our roads in the county that we maintain are in pretty good shape. Hats off to David Manus and his crew. We've got a rotation on those that we keep up with chip sealing that is working well. It's a 5-year rotation. And the dry weather has been good to our roads. But even after the rains we had over the last 3.5 weeks, David and his crew has been able to get back on top of most of that, and most of those we haven't had any major repairs, but the maintenance that is normally comes after a storm is almost caught up. I will note that there is a storm, another hurricane that is predicted to hit southern Arizona about Sunday, and then persist through the early part of next week. And so we'll keep an eye on that. Those things sometimes come in and drop a little rain. Sometimes they drop nothing. Sometimes they drop a lot of problems. And so we'll be prepared for that. That's part of the reason we looked at this strategically and said, we've got to make sure our road crew can keep up their core functions. But our towns are in a different circumstance. And so the letter we've sent to our legislative delegation simply says, look, if you end up with a surplus, please think of us. And these 2 towns, they do a lot with very little, and it's just difficult to save up money to pave that. So that's really all we have at this point. Of course, CSA will adopt its legislative agenda in 2 weeks. And that will shape CSA's effort. As we talked about, there's not a lot of those things that directly impact Green County. What we always look for, and this is the season to start looking for it, is where do we need to play defense? Because every year there's some ideas that are unusual. Sometimes they're just crazy, and sometimes they crazy affect us. A lot of those, there's a lot of people set their hair on fire in January and early February because these ideas float around. Most of them die of their own weight. They get through a committee hearing, people do some grandstanding, then they die off. But some of them don't. And so we will be watching during this season for those crazy bills that we need to defend. And we will attempt to set up some meetings with our legislative delegation to talk about the upcoming session as well. That's all I have on the legislative and well, that and the federal government shut down, but so far it hasn't hit us hard directly. Over time, we do receive grants in some of our critical departments that could be affected, might be affected. More broadly speaking, our federal partners in BLM and Forest Service, Fish and Wildlife are all affected by this. This is, if there's ever a good time to have it happen, right now is probably that good time. Our forests are fairly good shape as far as fire danger goes. And so But the longer it persists, then we will start to see that effect trickle down closer to us. And so that's all I have on budget and legislative affairs. Certainly take any questions.
Anyone have any questions?
No.
Thank you for the update.
Thank you, Derek. Okay,
With your permission, move on to the calendar. Of course, we're in our first board meeting. There's a county managers meeting this Friday. Some of that will be preparation for the CSA legislative conference. We'll also start covering some issues that will be coming up in the legislature. Our offices are closed on Monday in observance of Columbus Day. We'll have our second board meeting on the 21st of October. And then because of the CSA summit, we won't have the normal CSA board of directors meeting on the third week of the month. That'll be kicked down to the conference in Yuma. And so I've spent some time, I understand Supervisor Warren will attend on behalf of Greene County. From my staff, there'll be Austin and Bianca there as well. And so we've gone over some procedures and how that conference works.
And I've submitted by proxy.
so have
You
I.
got that.
So have I.
Good.
Both proxies have been submitted, so
You're the man, Will.
certainly if you have any instruction on
you.
any of the proposals, let Supervisor Warren know. Daylight savings begins, which usually for us is a big nothing burger, except that our partners right across the line, they play that game, and so other people around the country we interact with play that game. And so beginning in November, we will not adjust our clocks any direction. We do not have an election day this year, fortunately, in Greene County, but we do have a Board of Supervisors meeting on the 4th of November. And then, of course, the 8th annual Cody Denaheen Memorial Suicide Walk.
It's the 9th, but that's all right. It's okay.
Oh, the 9th of November?
It's the 9th annual. No, it's the 9th annual. instead of-
Oh.
On Saturday, the 8th.
But that's all good.
Like, okay, 9th annual on the 8th.
On the 8th, yes.
Okay, we'll get that correct. Our office will be closed, of course, for Veterans Day and observance of Veterans Day on the 11th. We'll have our second meeting on the 18th. There are a county managers meeting on the 14th of November with the normal ECO, small counties, and CSA board meeting on the 19th and 20th. We will be closed, of course, for Thanksgiving Day on the 27th. Moving into December, we typically try to have only one meeting during that month, so that would be on the 16th. Of course, if there's any other business that needs to be conducted, we can always notice that and have a second meeting. The ACO annual conference is the week before, the 9th through the 12th. And please get a hold of Bianca if you need arrangements to register for that conference. One of the things that I always like about that, there's always a really sound economic analysis of the state from Elliott Pollock and Company, widely recognized as one of the best in the state. We'll have, of course, county managers on the 5th, and then there is a CSA board meeting, which I'm almost certain will be on the 18th. But we'll confirm that and get it on the calendar. Of course, closed for Christmas. If there's anything to add to it, I'd be glad to do that and make note.
Anybody have anything to add?
No.
No, sir. No, Mr. Chairman.
Nothing to add, Joe,
Okay,
as of now, anyway. Okay, thank you. All right, we're going to our next item of business, consent agenda.
I move that we approve the consent agenda as listed.
I second that motion.
Motion has been made and second. Any discussion on any of these items? Hearing none, a call for vote. All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Aye. Ayes have it, so ordered. Okay, moving to our next item of business, supervisor reports. Either one of you two have anything to report?
I currently do not have anything to report. Just to make sure if you can make it to that suicide awareness on the 8th, great activity there and great program.
I appreciate that. Appreciate that advertisement. I don't have anything to report at this meeting.
Okay. I
Mr.
don't
Chairman,
either.
as the law allows the administrator to make a report, I want to simply point out that in today's Arizona Republic, there's a headline. This Arizona byway is among the most beautiful drives in the United States. Plan your road trip. It's reference to the Coronado Trail.
Hmm.
So
Very nice.
nice little article
Right in
there.
our backyard.
Right through Greenland County.
Right through Greenlee County.
Yeah,
Yep.
wow. Okay,
It's great.
well, with that said, this meeting is adjourned.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
You did all right.
Hey,